What if you're unknowingly postponing the very life you're trying to attract? Like Maya, she filled journals with affirmations, whispered desires into the night, yet woke up feeling empty, tight-chested, still waiting. Could it be that every method you've practiced 369, vision boards, even gratitude lists, only reinforced the silent belief? It's not here yet? Studies from Stanford and the HeartMath Institute reveal that your heart's electromagnetic field radiates up to 5,000 times stronger than your brain's, and it doesn't speak in affirmations, it broadcasts your truth. Your body doesn't follow your words, it follows your frequency. Maybe it wasn't your technique that failed, but your nervous system never felt safe to receive. In this video, we'll shift how you manifest not through force, but through deep alignment. Stay, because next, we uncover the illusion of attraction and the hidden trap of lack. Have you ever noticed how the harder you try to attract something, the further it seems to drift away? It's like chasing a feather in the wind. The more force you apply, the more elusive it becomes. This isn't just poetic imagery, it's energetic truth. In the quantum field, every attempt to get something sends out the frequency of not having. And because the field doesn't respond to your words, it reflects your vibration, simply mirrors that lack back to you. Like a tuning fork, it resonates with your core signal, not your surface intention. Psychologically, this ties directly into self-concept theory. Studies from Columbia University and the University of Sussex show that we unconsciously seek experiences that match our identity, even if that identity is rooted in lack, unworthiness, or waiting. If deep down you believe you're someone who almost gets there, your body will generate emotions that align with that belief. Not because you want to suffer, but because it feels familiar. And familiarity, to the nervous system, equals safety. So when you're scripting your dreams or repeating affirmations like, "I am abundant," but your inner landscape is filled with tension, anxiety, or self-doubt, guess which frequency the field responds to? The emotional truth, not the mental performance. This is why many people feel like they're chasing their desires in circles. Because they are, not physically, but energetically. Trying to attract becomes a subtle form of self-denial. It's a beautiful mask worn over an old wound. I am not enough as I am. And the field hears that, not as judgment, but as instruction. But what if you didn't have to chase? What if, instead, you could tune yourself like tuning an instrument to the frequency of already having, already being, already receiving? This is the beginning of real transformation. And it starts with awareness. Pause for a moment. What energy have you been moving from lately? Pressure? Fear? Proving, or ease? Clarity? Trust? Let's be honest with ourselves. That's where change begins. Have you seen this pattern in your own journey? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Because next, we're going deeper into the actual mechanics of the quantum field. Not theory, but real, measurable science. We'll explore how your emotional frequency interacts with reality itself, and how to shift it from the inside out. Stay with me. The mirror is still listening. What if reality isn't something you chase but something you collapse into? In quantum physics, there's a phenomenon called the double-slit experimenta discovery, so strange, it changed how we see reality. When particles are unobserved, they remain in a state of possibility as waves. But the moment you observe them, they collapse into form. In other words, your observation shapes reality. You don't call in a new timeline, you collapse into the one that already exists, by tuning your frequency to match it. Think of it like a radio. The music is already in the room, but unless you're tuned to the right station, all you hear is static. You don't create the music, you align with it. Reality works the same way. The version of you that already has the life you desire, it's not far away. It's already broadcasting, just on a different frequency. Scientists at CERN and researchers from Stanford have confirmed that subatomic particles do not exist in a fixed location until observed. Your attention, your conscious awareness isn't passive, it's creative. But here's the twist. You're always observing something. So the real question is, what are you unconsciously tuning into? Lack, delay, or coherence? The quantum field is not a vending machine. It's a mirror of resonance. You don't force it to give you what you want. You become the version of you that already lives it, and the field reflects that identity back. So take a breath. Feel your body. Ask yourself, what frequency am I living in today? Not the one I hope for, but the one I am. Because the moment you shift your frequency not by pretending, but by emotionally aligning you, shift the version of reality that appears, not through effort, through embodiment. You don't manifest by reaching out. You manifest by tuning in. What does this bring up for you? Can you feel the shift from chasing to choosing? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear how this lands for you. And stay with me, because next we're going deeper into why frequency doesn't come from desire, but from identity. This is the missing link most people overlook. And once you understand it, everything changes. What if your reality doesn't reflect what you want but who you believe you are? This is the part most people miss. We think if we want something, enough love, freedom, abundance, it should come. But in the quantum field, frequency doesn't follow desire. It follows identity. And identity is not what you say to yourself consciously. It's what your nervous system believes to be true when no one is watching. So pause for a moment and ask, what am I really broadcasting? Not what I hope for, but what I've normalized. Am I unconsciously embodying the frequency of waiting, doubting, or needing? Or am I living from the embodiment of already being, already receiving? According to Stanford Center for Behavioral Neuroscience and the HeartMath Institute, our bodies operate from what's called a default emotional set point, a baseline emotional state shaped by years of experience, belief, and subconscious memory. This set point becomes the filter through which we perceive life, interpret events, and most importantly, emit frequency. Let's ground this in something real. Imagine someone who says, "I am abundant," while feeling tight in their chest, scanning their bank account 3 times a day. That's not alignment, that's emotional dissonance. And the quantum field doesn't listen to their words. It responds to that deeper signal, the emotional truth beneath the performance. Because you don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. Think of your identity like the soil. Your thoughts are seeds, but if the soil is dry, tense, and filled with old roots of fear or scarcity, nothing can truly grow. So the real work isn't forcing new thoughts, it's tending to the soil. It's becoming the version of you who doesn't just think differently, but feels, breathes, and moves differently. This is where true frequency shift begins, not by wanting a new life, but by choosing to become someone new. So ask yourself, who am I when no one's watching? What reality do I feel safe repeating, even if I say I want something different? It's okay if the answers surprise you. Awareness is not judgment, it's liberation. And from here, we begin to shift. Let's open this together. Have you noticed your emotional set point? Can you name the identity you've been unconsciously living from? Share it in the comments. I'm here to witness it with you. Because in the next part, we'll go even deeper into the roots of frequency misalignment, your nervous system, your stored emotions, and how to regulate your body to become the signal of what you truly desire. Stay with me. The shift is already unfolding. What if your fear of the future is really just an echo from the past? We often think we're anxious because we don't know what's coming. But neuroscience shows something deeper. Your nervous system isn't reacting to the future, it's reliving memories that were never fully processed. Like a radio stuck on one station, your body keeps replaying old emotional songs, even while your mind dreams of something new. This is the hidden root of frequency misalignment. You're not broken, you're patterned. And most of those patterns were formed long before you had words to explain them. According to polyvagal theory, developed by Dr. Stephen Porges, your nervous system is constantly scanning for safety, not just physically, but emotionally. When it detects threat, whether a raised voice, a dismissive glance, or financial instability, it shifts into survival states, fight, flight, or freeze. These states aren't just reactions, they're frequencies. They shape how you breathe, speak, interpret the world, and what you unconsciously expect from life. Here's the twist. You can't affirm your way out of a dysregulated nervous system. You can say, "I am abundant," 1,000 times, but if your body is still bracing for loss, still tight in the chest, still scanning for danger. You're broadcasting the frequency of fear, not abundance. Research from Stanford's Department of Behavioral Sciences and the HeartMath Institute confirms this. When your nervous system is regulated, your heart's electromagnetic field expands, creating coherence across your entire body. In this state, your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in harmony, and the quantum field reflects that unity back. So how do we get there? Not through force, through gentle regulation. Start with coherence breathing, a simple rhythm of 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. This balances the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems, helping your body shift from survival into presence. Add somatic tools like EFT tapping, or just placing a hand on your heart and saying, "Right now I'm safe." These tiny resets may seem simple, but they change your signal. You're not failing to manifest. You're being invited to heal the pattern that's been broadcasting the opposite. And the beautiful truth? You don't have to figure it all out today. You just have to begin noticing. Where does your body still flinch at joy? Where does safety still feel unfamiliar? Let's open that conversation. Have you felt your body pulling you back while your mind was trying to move forward? Comment below. I read everyone. And if this resonates, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone you love. Healing is contagious when we do it together. Because in the next part, we'll explore something many don't talk about: fake coherence. How we trick ourselves into thinking we're aligned when we're actually masking survival. It's subtle, it's sneaky, and it may be the very thing keeping you stuck. Stay with me, the truth will set your signal free. Have you ever felt peaceful during your morning meditation, only to spiral into anxiety by the afternoon? That's not failure. That's a sign you may be caught in fake coherence, a subtle, well-intentioned performance of alignment that masks a deeper frequency of fear. Like wearing a bright smile over a trembling heart, this kind of energetic dissonance can be difficult to spot, but your body always knows. And so does the field. Imagine someone who starts their day with affirmations, candles, and breathwork. On the surface, everything looks high vibe, but underneath, they're bracing, watching the clock, checking for signs that it's working. They're not living in trust, they're surviving through rituals. This is the nervous system still stuck in hypervigilance. Behavioral researchers from UCLA and the University of Cambridge have studied this pattern and call it anticipatory stress masking, where people use positive behaviors to suppress internal chaos rather than resolve it. It creates a false sense of control. But beneath that, the frequency remains unchanged. So how can you tell when you've slipped into fake coherence? Look for these subtle cues. Your spiritual practices feel like pressure, not peace. You feel worse when results don't show up on time. You feel disconnected from your body, even when saying all the right words. Your inner voice feels tight, urgent, or subtly afraid. Here's the truth. Real coherence isn't a performance, it's a nervous system state. It's not about appearing positive. It's about feeling safe. Safe to rest. Safe to wait. Safe to be with yourself, even when nothing is happening. So next time you catch yourself forcing calm or chasing signs, pause. Ask gently, am I doing this because I trust? Or because I'm afraid it won't come? That one question can shift everything because it invites you back into honesty. And the quantum field doesn't respond to perfection. It responds to truth. Have you noticed moments where your alignment was actually anxiety in disguise? How does your body tell you the difference? Share with me in the comments. I'd love to hear your reflections. And stay close, because next, we'll walk with Maya, a woman who mastered the rituals but still felt hollow until one moment of raw truth changed everything. Her journey may feel a lot like your own. Maya used to think she was doing everything right. Every morning, she lit her candle, closed her eyes, and visualized the life she wanted, a career with purpose, a partner who saw her deeply, a sense of ease in her body. Her journals were full of affirmations, her vision board meticulously crafted. But deep inside, something felt hollow, like dressing in sunlight, while her bones were still cold. She began to notice the gap between what she was doing and how she was actually feeling. Her stomach clenched when she checked her emails. Her breath quickened when bills came in. And though she smiled and said, "I trust the timing," her nights were filled with restlessness. On the surface, she looked aligned. But under the rituals, Maya was still living from a place of lack, trying to earn the very things she longed to receive. She wasn't alone. Studies from the University of Toronto show that over 80% of people who engage in manifestation techniques report emotional incongruence, feeling disconnected from what they practice. Maya had become a master of mental effort, but her body hadn't caught up. Her nervous system was still carrying years of unresolved disappointment, heartbreak, and subtle survival patterns. And the quantum field, like a mirror, kept reflecting back her underlying truth. It's not safe to receive yet. Then something shifted. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't in a workshop or a breakthrough moment. It was quiet. One rainy afternoon, she closed her journal, and for the first time, stopped trying to fix herself. She made tea, Saturday in silence, put a hand on her heart, and whispered, "Maybe I'm enough right now." No performance, no checklist, just presence. In the weeks that followed, she stopped visualizing outcomes and started choosing how she wanted to feel each day, not to get something, but because she deserved to feel whole. She found joy in slow walks, in imperfect conversations, in being with what is. And here's what surprised her most. The job offer came. The relationship healed. Opportunities arrived not because she chased them, but because she stopped chasing herself. The moment she embodied sufficiency, the field responded. Can you relate to Maya's story? Have you ever felt that quiet ache beneath all the effort? Let me know in the comments what part of her journey mirrors your own. Stay close, because in the next chapter, we'll explore that mysterious moment where things shift without force, the collapse of a new reality. What actually happens when identity, emotion, and frequency align? You'll want to feel this for yourself. Have you ever noticed that real transformation doesn't arrive with fireworks, but with stillness? That the moment a new reality collapses into form often feels deceptively quiet, like the air just shifted, but you can't explain why. It's not a grand action. It's not a sudden win. It's the soft moment when something inside you stops waiting and simply becomes. This is the truth of quantum collapse. Not an explosion of effort, but a subtle shift in frequency, a stable, repeated signal that becomes undeniable to the field. Scientists at Stanford have shown that sustained emotional coherence creates measurable changes in heart-brain synchronization, influencing perception, decision-making, and even cellular function. When the body begins to feel safe in a new emotional state, gratitude, trust, sufficiency, that state becomes reality's new blueprint. Imagine a seed. You plant it. For weeks, nothing breaks the surface. But underground, roots are forming. The collapse of a new identity works the same. The surface may still look unchanged, but something deeper is anchoring. A frequency is stabilizing, and the field begins to mirror it, not out of obligation, but resonance. That's what happened with Maya. Her life didn't explode into magic overnight, but her nervous system softened, her breath deepened, her sense of enoughness expanded. And then a phone call, an unexpected email, a moment of clarity. Not because she pushed harder, but because her signal finally matched the timeline she used to chase. That's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to make it happen is often the moment it begins to happen. And you may not even realize the shift at first, because the new reality doesn't always feel like a rush. It often feels like relief. So ask yourself, have you felt moments like that, subtle, yet deeply real, when the world outside didn't change, but something inside felt done, clear, grounded? Let me know in the comments. Your story might help someone recognize their own turning point. And stay close, because in the next chapter, we'll explore something many overlook: what to do in the space between planting and blooming. How do you hold your frequency when nothing seems to be happening? How do you trust the roots beneath the surface? That's where the real magic matures. What do you do in the space where nothing seems to be happening? The waiting room between intention and evidence, the days, weeks, sometimes months where the outer world stays quiet, even though you've shifted so much inside. This is where most people give up. Not because they failed, but because they mistook silence for stagnation. But just like seeds take root in darkness, transformation deepens in the unseen. The quantum field isn't slow, it's intelligent. And during this in-between space, it's listening, not to your words but to your stability. This is the moment where old frequencies try to pull you back, where the body craves the familiar, where doubt dresses itself in logic and whispers, "See? Nothing's changing." So what do? You return to the signal. Gently, daily, moment by moment. One of the most powerful practices during this phase is the Who I Am Now journal. Each night, write from the identity you're becoming, not as a wish but as a reflection. Today, I moved with clarity. I chose rest without guilt. I noticed beauty and didn't rush past it. You're not journaling results, you're anchoring frequency. Support this with tiny embodied reminders. Walk like someone who trusts their life. Breathe like someone who isn't rushing toward worth. Pour your coffee with reverence. These are not just habits, they're identity signals. From a neuroscience perspective, these micro-embodiments rewire the brain's default mode network, the system responsible for self-perception. Studies from the University of British Columbia and the HeartMath Institute show that small, consistent emotional practices create more lasting nervous system change than occasional intense effort. And when doubt rises, it will use the coherence breathing plus gratitude loop. Breathe in for 5 counts. Breathe out for 5 counts. Place a hand on your heart. Recall something you already have that evokes genuine gratitude. Let that feeling fill your body. Then loop it. If this is already mine, what else could be possible? You're not convincing the universe, you're reminding your body of safety. Because in this phase, safety is the frequency. You don't need to force trust. You need to live like it's familiar. Have you ever felt that liminal space, that quiet, aching pause where everything inside is changing, but nothing outside reflects it yet? What helped you hold your frequency? Tell me in the comments, I'd love to witness your practice. And stay with me, because next we'll explore a truth most people overlook. Your frequency doesn't need to be perfected, just needs to be consistent. That's the secret the field is really listening for. What if the universe isn't asking you to be perfect, just present? So many people think frequency means constant positivity, always high vibe, always grateful, always joyful. But that's not how energy or being human works. True frequency alignment isn't about never wobbling. It's about consistently returning to your chosen signal, even after the wobble. The quantum field doesn't respond to your fleeting emotions. It reflects your foundational state, the emotional tone you return to most often. That means you can have a messy day, a doubtful thought, even a tearful breakdown, and still be in alignment. What matters isn't emotional perfection, it's emotional pattern. Imagine tuning a guitar. It doesn't need to be perfectly still, it just needs to hold the note long enough for harmony to take shape. You are that instrument. And the field responds to the rhythm you sustain, not the noise you pass through. Behavioral science backs this. A study from McGill University found that people who practiced gentle realignment, small, consistent shifts back to gratitude or calm experienced greater nervous system regulation and long-term behavior change than those who tried to stay positive at all costs. In other words, consistency over intensity creates more coherent frequency. So let go of the pressure to always be high vibe. Instead, focus on coming back. Again and again. Breathe. Reset. Walk. Speak kindly. Choose one coherent activin after a hard moment. And over time, this becomes your new baseline, your field signature. Have you noticed this in your own journey? That returning to your center matters more than staying there all the time? Tell me below. Your reflection may be someone's medicine. Because in the next chapter, we'll explore something that magnifies your signal even more powerfully than solo effort, field entrainment. How your environment, relationships, and even the spaces you rest in can either distort or amplify your frequency. This next part will change how you design your daily life. Stay close. You're tuning beautifully. What if your energy isn't just shaped by your thoughts but by the spaces and people you move through every day? Imagine yourself as a tuning fork. You might be vibrating at peace, but if you're surrounded by noise people stuck in fear, environments soaked in stress, language drenched in lack, your signal begins to bend. This is called field entrainment, and it's one of the most overlooked forces in frequency alignment. In physics and neuroscience, entrainment refers to the tendency of biological rhythms soar, even heartbeats to synchronize with external rhythms. Studies from the HeartMath Institute show that when people sit near someone in emotional coherence, their heart rate variability begins to match, even without speaking. Energy is contagious. So the question becomes, what are you constantly synchronizing to? If you're trying to embody peace, but your environment broadcasts urgency, your body picks that up. If you're nurturing abundance but your conversations are rooted in scarcity, you begin to shrink. That's why it's essential, not just empowering, to create environments that echo your chosen frequency. You don't need to isolate, you need to curate. Play music that calms your nervous system. Let sunlight touch your skin each morning. Choose words that reflect trust, not tension. Spend time, even just a few minutes, with people who remind you of who you're becoming, not who you're trying to escape. Even your physical space holds memory. Studies from MIT's Media Lab show that lighting, color, and spatial arrangement influence the brain's emotional processing. So light a candle. Rearrange your space to feel clear. Wear colors that speak your future. These details may seem small, but they're signals. And signals matter. So take a gentle inventory. What around you is pulling you back into old frequencies? What around you supports your expansion? And most importantly, what one shift could you make this week to tune your environment into alignment with the future you're already becoming? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're noticing. Because next, we'll bring everything home, a quiet, powerful summary and a deeper invitation, not just to understand frequency, but to live it from the inside out. Stay with me. The final piece is not about effort, it's about embodiment. What if the future you're chasing is already here, just vibrating at a frequency you haven't fully embodied yet? The truth is, you don't need to try harder. You don't need to manifest faster. You don't need to fix yourself to be worthy of the life you desire. You simply need to be honest with the frequency you're broadcasting in this moment. Not the one you hope for, the one you're actually living. Everything we've explored, identity, nervous system regulation, coherence, environment, isn't about control. It's about remembering. You are already the signal, and the quantum field is already listening. From a neuroscience lens, your brain is trained to perceive what matches its dominant pattern. But the moment you shift your internal reference point, even subtly, perception begins to rewire. This is not magic. This is entrained neuroplasticity. The future doesn't arrive because you force it. It unfolds because you align with the version of you that already lives there. So here is your gentle invitation. Pause. Feel your breath. Notice your current state, not to judge, but to witness. Then ask, what frequency am I ready to return to? And how can I remind my body of it today? Because in the end, you don't need to attract the future. You need to sync with the present where that future already exists. This is the real work, not effort, not waiting, but resonance. If this landed for you, take a moment and write it down. I am choosing to see differently. What opened up for you in this journey? How has your relationship with frequency changed? Tell me below. I'd love to hear what you're walking away with.